Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to be doing our experiment. I am going to share with you a PowerPoint first, and then let's see if you can see this. And then we will be doing our experiment with milk and cookies. So if you have milk and plastic cups and cookies, you can do the experiment with me at home. If you don't have these things, that is okay. So let us begin with our PowerPoint. Okay, investigations. Let's begin. So, have you ever wondered why a big ship floats, but a small rock usually sinks? Whether an object sinks or floats has nothing to do with its weight, but instead it depends on its density. So today we're going to talk about buoyancy. So what do you think would float? A rock or a boat? Okay, a boat, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that how big a thing is. So when something sinks or something floats, it doesn't matter whether it's big or small. It depends on how dense it is, how thick, how full of something it is inside. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about buoyancy. Can you say that with me? Buoyancy. Let's say it 5 times. Buoyancy, 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 and buoyancy. Good. It's a fun word to say. So everything around us is made out of molecules, meaning tiny little things like that. Everything is made out of molecules. The more tightly packed together the molecules, the more dense it is. So there's some molecules that are tightly packed together and they're more dense, they're thicker, right? Loosely packed molecules make an object less dense. So a thing will sink if it is more dense than the liquid it's placed in. So if the liquid is not as dense as the thing, it will sink. If the thing is dense, means it's tightly packed with molecules, it will float because it'll be too heavy. It will float if it is less dense than the liquid that it's put in. When an object floats, we say it is buoyant. So when something floats, we don't say it floats in science. In science, we say it is buoyant. Can you say that? Buoyant. Buoyant means floating. Okay, so let's explore buoyancy. Okay, so today what you should have are a couple of worksheets, and I want you to take them out. You have this cookie dunk worksheet, and you have this other worksheet, okay? So we are going to be doing our scientific method. So do you remember what the first step of the scientific method was? Right, it's asking a question. So our question that we're gonna ask is, do cookies sink or float in milk? That's our question. So you need to write your name on this. You need to get a pencil because we're going to be writing the whole time. Okay, so the question's already written there. Do you see it's already written there? So now we're going to write our hypothesis. What do you think is going to happen? See if I have my pen. 1 second. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is we need to observe, right? The next step is observation. So what are we gonna do? We have different cookies. Right now, I want you to cross off the vanilla wafer. Cross it off. And you can cross off the observation box for vanilla wafer. And all of the rest of the boxes like that. Okay, we won't be doing that one. Okay, when you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Good. Miss Santana has some Oreos. Yum. I have some Nutter Butters. If we were in class, we would be able to eat these, but we're not, so we'll just have to. So we have some Oreos, some Nutter Butters, and we have some Chips Ahoy. Good. Okay, so we need to observe them. So I'm going to open one up, and I am going to put it, let's see, can you see this right here? Okay, I want you to observe that. Actually, that's not what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna show it to you like this. Okay, I want you to observe it. What does it look like? Do you think it's dense? Do you think it's thick? What does this cookie look like? So that's the Chips Ahoy. So where it says Chips Ahoy, where it says observation, right here, you're gonna write thick cookie. I think it's thick. Thick cookie. What else do you think the cookie looks like? Is it dense? Crumbly? So we can put crumbly. Crumbly. It smells really chocolatey. So we could put chocolatey. What else is it? It's round. Good. We can put round. Do you see that? Thick cookie, crumbly, chocolatey, round. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is an Oreo. This one's good. Does this look crumbly? I don't think so. Okay, so let's describe it. Observation of the Oreo. It's round. Do you think it's thick? Well, the middle part's kind of thick, but the cookie part is not that thick. This is really thick. This is really thick. Do you see that? But this isn't that thick. So we'll put cookie, not that thick. So we'll put cookie. We can put just a circle and a slash. Not thick. But the cream inside is thick, right? Cream, thick. What else? It's round. It's chocolatey too. Which one's more heavy? I think this is more heavy. So we can say lighter than the Chips Ahoy. We can put that in if it fits. Lighter than Chips Ahoy. Okay. And I'm actually gonna have one of these because it smells so good. And we have a lot. Okay. This one's a Nutter Butter. Round. Is it thick? It looks pretty thick. So let's put round. Yellow. It's yellow. It's kind of yellow, right? Yellow. Thick. And it smells like peanut butter. So I'm going to put peanut butter. I'm going to put smells like, and instead of writing peanut butter, I'm just going to put PB, peanut butter. Okay. You see right here where it says prediction? So for our prediction, before we do our prediction, we're going to go up to the hypothesis. Okay. Okay, hypothesis. Do cookies sink or float in milk? What do you think? Your hypothesis is what you think is going to happen. Do cookies sink or float in milk? What do you think? You can put whatever you want. I'm going to put cookies. You never write I think. You just write what it is. Cookies that are thick. Cookies that are thick will sink. Period. And then I'm going to put cookies that are thin will float in milk. That's what I have. Cookies that are thick will sink, and cookies that are thin will float in milk. That's my hypothesis. If you want to take a moment to write that down, you can put pause right now and write it. You can copy mine. If you have your own hypothesis and you think it's going to be different, you can change it. Okay, so now we have to make our prediction. Before we do anything, we need to write our prediction. What do you think is going to happen to the Chips Ahoy cookie? I'm going to put, I think it will float. No, I think it will sink. Period. So you're going to write that. I think it will sink. Put pause and write it down. Okay, let's go to the Oreo one. What do you think is going to happen to the Oreo? I think it will float. Period. Put pause and write that down. What about the Nutter Butter? I think it will float. Oh, I said it was thick, so maybe not. But I'm just going to say, I think it's going to float. Put pause and write that down. Okay, are you ready to do our experiment? Okay, while we do this, I need you to cross off one of these, just one. Okay, boys and girls, while we are doing this, you have to be drawing what you see. Okay, the first one is going to be for the Chips Ahoy, the second one is the Oreo, and the third one is the Nutter Butter. Okay, you have to be drawing what you see. Don't worry about these two columns. Don't worry about that. You have to be drawing what you see. Are you ready? Okay, let's do this. So I have some milk right here. One, two, three. Do you see that? I'm going to put the equal amount in each one. Okay, that should have an equal amount. This one is Chips Ahoy, this one will be Oreo, and this one will be Nutter Butter. It's important that you are drawing right here, okay? So start drawing. Okay, the first one. Chips Ahoy, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, Oreo, 1, 2, 3. Okay, Nutter Butter, 1, 2, 3. Okay, do you see them? Is either one floating or sinking? Let's see if I can go like this. Are they floating? Yep, they're floating. Okay, let's give it some time. Let's see, which one do you think is going to win? Okay, start drawing, start labeling. Start labeling. Start drawing what you see. I'm gonna start drawing what I see. The Chips Ahoy. Ooh, do you see it? It's sinking. Chips Ahoy. It's like this. And there's just a little bit of a cookie on top. This is the Chips Ahoy. This one is the Oreo, and the Oreo is floating. And then we have the Nutter Butter, and the Nutter Butter seems like it's floating. Okay. Last time. So the Nutter Butter is floating. The Oreo is floating, but the Chips Ahoy sunk. And why did the Chips Ahoy sink? Because it was thick. It was dense. It was too dense. It was more dense than the milk, and that's why it sunk. Okay? So over here, where it says sink or float, you're gonna write Chips Ahoy sunk. So you're gonna put a big X like this. Oreo, that one floated. And then the Nutter Butter, that one floated too. So let's see, were we right? Let's see our prediction. I said it will sink, and it sunk. I was right. Okay, Oreo, it will float. I was right. It will float for the Nutter Butter. I was right. Good. Now the last step for our scientific method is that we have to write a conclusion. So we have to write what happened. So we're gonna put the Chips Ahoy cookie sunk because it was more dense than the milk. It was too thick. The milk was not as thick as the cookie. So put pause and write that down. Good. Now you have another paper and it says describe your results. So I want you to write down what happened. What happened? The Nutter Butter sank too, actually. The only one that's still alive, the only one that's still floating, that's still buoyant, is the Oreo. So, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna change it. I hope you wrote in pencil. Miss Antenna didn't. So the Nutter Butter, it didn't float, it sank. Okay, let's see, I went ahead and changed it. Okay, so we have to describe our results. So maybe you can write about how the Nutter Butter was floating and then all of a sudden it sank. Or how the Chips Ahoy was floating at the beginning and then it sank. Okay, and then you're gonna write a reflection. A reflection is going to be something that you learned. What did you learn today? The reflection will be, what did you learn? And then the next one, it says, think about it. Think about the cookies that floated. What do you think made them float? Why do you think the other cookies sank? So I want you to answer this worksheet as well. Okay? Well, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed our experiment. We will be continuing with our experiments in the next couple of weeks, or next week. Okay, God bless you, and I will see you soon. Totus tuus, Maria.